What's going on, my Jets family? I appreciate you guys. Excuse me. I appreciate you guys, like always, for tuning in to the Flight Spittin Fire Podcast. You got me, Harrison Glazer, here with you guys to talk about the Jets. Now, on the surface, obviously, the last game wasn't a good one. We can't sugarcoat it. I mean, we can. I even pointed out, it was a bad game for Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson had a bad game. I mean, anyone saying differently didn't watch the game. He was highly inaccurate. He made his reads weren't bad. As usual, his reads weren't bad. I see a lot of you guys here. Appreciate you guys coming in. I forgot to, if you just can please subscribe to the channel by clicking so on the bottom right corner of the screen. That'd be much, much appreciated. Thank you guys. But back into Mr. Zach Wilson himself, who didn't have a good game. He specifically was off on his throwing accuracy. Now, we've seen it all season. So today's episode, what I want to talk to you guys about is all Zach Wilson. We're going to be talking about Zach Wilson. And specifically, the title of this episode, what you need to hear about Zach Wilson. Because what you are hearing is the spin of the negative. You're hearing, obviously, people saying he's a bust already. I mean, he's a bust. He had a horribly inaccurate game. He's not the guy. He's in his rookie year. He's only in his 10th game coming up. That was I believe his 10th game. That's it. He can't be the guy. That's what you hear from some people. And that's been the rhetoric. But it's not true. That's crazy. So the biggest thing, like we said with Zach Wilson in the last game, was his throw accuracy. Now, when we look at Zach Wilson, we mentioned this, I think it was an episode ago, 2 episodes ago. We mentioned how from college, people had issues with Zach Wilson. I personally, as we talked about in the show, I felt that those weren't really issues, the things we talked about, and showed how, that the college level, competition actually worked in his favor. All those things we talked about. But the biggest thing that no one ever really said was about his throw accuracy. All of his throws, and I mentioned it too, his accuracy was great. He had great touch, even in the offseason beforehand. Clearly, as you can see, it's growing pains. That's what happens. And that's the thing. You see people saying, oh, his throw accuracy isn't there. He can't be an NFL quarterback. Well, we know this isn't a reoccurring issue of his. It's not like his accuracy has always been a problem. It's not like Christian Hackenberg is back at the Jets quarterback, where you guys remember there was someone in the front office in his rookie season where they, quote, said that he couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat. That's not what we have. Accuracy had never been Wilson's problem before. So all of a sudden, he's having an issue with his accuracy. That's it. But again, it's not like he automatically regressed into forgetting how to throw a football. Like the people that are saying, oh, he has horrible throw accuracy, obviously he can't be an NFL quarterback. Well, are you thinking that, the next game, he's just going to start throwing it backward? Think about it. We just said, the logic behind this. Throwing accuracy, even Connor Hughes, I'm pretty confident it was Connor Hughes. Somebody asked him in today's press conference, Robert Saleh, point blank, that, throw accuracy had never been an issue of Wilson's before. Of all the things people said, there's this, there's that, there's this. That was never one of them, ever. And you guys remember, that shocked me. In the first game, might have been the Titans game. I have the numbers in front of me so I can look at the completion percentages. It might have been, I think it was the Denver game. Believe it was the Denver game, might have been the New England game. People were saying, oh, stuff about his throw accuracy, but I'd pointed out, I was surprised myself because that had never been his problem before. Of all the things, that would be all of a sudden his arm not having throw strength and not being a cannon and people saying, oh, he doesn't have a cannon. Well, wait a minute, he did before. So again, these people saying, oh, he doesn't have throw accuracy. It's like they're assuming now because he regressed to be unable to throw the football. It's like in the next game, he's going to throw it the wrong way. He's going to be in the pocket and go, touchdown, something crazy. Obviously, Zach Wilson knows how to throw a football. We know that. There's something more going on. And the answer is a myriad of things, but it comes down to the fact that he's a rookie. He's a rookie quarterback. He's obviously going to have growing pains. And we talked about this when the season started. You guys remember, I talked about it because everybody, before the season started, I remember I told you guys, every show I was on as a guest, everybody's, one of their questions was, what do you think the Jets record is going to be? Like, what do you think they're going to do this season? You guys remember, I always approached it the same way. I felt like there's a ton of potential on this team. Obviously, we still have a ton of injuries, but there's a ton of potential before those injuries, I was saying. But also, we have a rookie quarterback, a rookie coach. We have to see. We have to wait to see. Clearly, it's not going that Patrick Mahomes way. And as you guys know, if you're here, obviously, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. This Patrick Mahomes standard is insane. People have this new standard with a quarterback, but they're saying these things about Zach Wilson. Let's look at the guy that was supposed to be better than Zach Wilson for a second. So you guys remember whenever I got a chance to talk about Trevor Lawrence, I started calling him the Messiah quarterback because it just made sense. Like every time they talked about him, it was like a light came down and they were like, he's here. So I'd say Messiah quarterback now. So if we look at the Messiah quarterback in his last game, he had a better completion percentage than Zach Wilson, but he threw 4 interceptions. So we can clearly say, which is a wonderful sentence to say, that at least Zach Wilson wasn't as bad as Trevor Lawrence. Right? That's a sentence we can have fun saying, that at least Zach Wilson wasn't as bad as Trevor Lawrence. And again, this is the guy that everyone said is the guy, like the guy that's coming out. Remember when we had the chance of getting him? He's going to come on, touch the field. That's where the Messiah quarterback comes from. He's going to touch the football, and all of a sudden the team is going to magically turn into a playoff contending team. But as we know, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't work that way. We'd love it to work that way. I'd love it to work that way. If there was a magical way to make Zach Wilson unbelievable right now, I'd do it. But it doesn't work like that. You've heard me say it before. As a teacher, I say it to my students all the time. Nothing that was worth anything in this life is easy. You have to work for things in this life. Patrick Mahomes, as we've talked about, is the exception. He's the magical exception that doesn't happen. And the perfect example. Who was Trevor Lawrence compared to? Peyton Manning. He's going to be the next Peyton Manning. Well, Peyton Manning in his rookie season finished it with a 56.7% completion rating, pretty good amount of yards, about 300 shy of 4,000, but had more interceptions than touchdowns. 28 interceptions, only 26 touchdowns. So he picked that up the next couple of years because quarterbacks make major strides in an offseason. In a year 2, we see that all the time. The really great quarterbacks make a big stride in the offseason in a year 2, and then they make an even bigger stride into year 3, and they really come into their own. And obviously, Peyton's the best example. He had 26 touchdowns and 28 interceptions in his rookie year. Second year, he has 26 touchdowns, 15 interceptions, trending in the right direction. Next year, he has over 30 touchdowns and only 15 picks. The following year, he doesn't do as well. So again, there's always a curve to it. There's a myriad of factors. But again, we just talked about with Trevor Lawrence, we look at these numbers. Lawrence had 4 interceptions last week, no touchdowns and 4 interceptions. And again, this was the guy that no one said they're taking over Zach Wilson. He was ready. He was ready to go immediately. But as we know, and we hate to admit it, but we know the higher picks go to the worst teams. Trevor Lawrence's team isn't ready to compete. Well, guess what? I hate to admit it, but we know that Zach Wilson's team isn't ready to compete. We're just not there. And his skill weapons, his skill positions, Michael Carter, the running back, been killing it. Even Tevin Coleman had stepped in well. Elijah Moore was really coming into his own, looking great. Even Corey Davis was playing well. All gone. All gone. None of them there. I really hoped Keelan Cole, and you guys know we talked about that. Everyone's like, Mims. I'm like, you guys know, I was like, forget Mims. He proved it. Mims basically showed us that we need to forget him, unless he could do something completely different from here on out. But Keelan Cole, I was really excited about. I feel like he was shut down. I feel like the corners of the Saints are really good, and they shut Keelan Cole down. I think he's better than his production showed. That's just my personal feeling. But again, we look at Trevor Lawrence's numbers. They're much worse. So we can confidently say the sentence that at least Zach Wilson isn't as bad as Trevor Lawrence. And that is a wonderful, wonderful sentence to say. So he's a rookie. That's the answer here. That's what you need to hear about Zach Wilson. It's a very simple answer. He's a rookie playing in his rookie year. And like all the stats we just talked about, there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. And this thing with throw accuracy, like we talked about, it never been a problem before. It's not like he's not like it's Christian Hackenberg that couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. This kid had great throwing accuracy. So clearly that's not his issue. Something else is going on. He's got to work on it. Obviously, he's going to work on it. But like we always hear about Zach Wilson, you've heard it from me. Every time he's interviewed, Saleh talks about him. Anytime anyone ever talks about him, they always talk about him learning, how he's always learning, always getting better, always honing his craft, always studying, always learning. Like we said, Trevor Lawrence is stinking just as much, but Wilson's dedicated. Wilson has dedicated himself. So I think he's going to get better. I do believe in this kid, and I do think he's going to get better because he is a dedicated kid. But I think there's going to be ups and downs like with anybody. But again, it might take a year or two for him to get there. But when he gets there, he gets there. It's like, people always say, you want to get to that finish line. You can't rush it. You can't rush it. It's a beautiful finish line, but if you want to get there, you can't rush the process. So that's my 2 cents on Zach Wilson. That's why I think, everyone, like everything I've said so far in this episode, that they're jumping the gun completely with everything they're saying, that especially if they're saying he's a bust, but even about being bad. Like we talked about, all those numbers we just talked about, the ups and the downs. He's had plenty of good games. Yes, I know Rookie of the Week is a popularity vote in a popularity contest, but he still won them because he had good games. Zach has played very good games this year. We just need more of that. Hopefully, as this coaching staff has pointed out, and as everyone's pointed out, hopefully these negatives are a learning experience. That's what matters most. If you remember, I tweeted it about the coaching staff, I think it was a week or so ago. They said the biggest thing with Zach was be decisive. Remember, pretty sure we talked about that last episode, that even if he throws a pick, at least it's a learning. At least he's learning from that. Like we said, Trevor threw 4 last week. Zach didn't throw any, so Zach was much better, but a lot of throws he was off on. He had bad throw accuracy, but he just has to go back to the books, figure out what he's doing wrong. It's probably not as simple as you and me think, but I do believe he's definitely going to figure it out. I do truly believe that. So I appreciate all you guys here. NFL Chaos is here saying, here listening but driving. I appreciate you, my man. Appreciate you being here, Jeremy. Appreciate you tuning in. You're a great guy. I really do appreciate you being there. Tom says, what's up, Harrison? He says, one positive, maybe we have a kicker. Also, Zach will be fine. Yeah, man. And both of you guys, Tom, Jeremy, appreciate you guys with the comments. Anyone else want to bring your questions, bring whatever. I love chatting with you guys, love talking with you. But yeah, man, everyone's freaking out. But like I just showed, I mean, you look at Lawrence, who was the heralded guy. Like, this was the guy. Like, he comes in, he's ready to go. But it's not translating. But that's not what people are talking about most, because we're New York. That's how it is. We make a good story. People love to talk about the Jets. They did before. It ain't changing now. At first, they loved talking about the potential of Zach Wilson. Now they're enjoying saying, well, what if Zach's not the guy? What if he sucks? What if this? What if that? It's too early. Don't let it all get in your head. And again, these people saying the throw accuracy is an issue of his, it had never been an issue before. So again, if he'd regressed that much, I expect him to throw the ball backward next game. I expect him to go. That's literally what I expect, if that's what these people are thinking, that he's regressing at that of a rate, that it's going in the opposite direction every play. But one more thing I wanted to bring up with you guys is some big news. The big news is both Michael Carters are returning. That's huge. Like we just said, and Elijah Moore, they say, should be back toward the end of the season, which the way I look at it as is, if he's healthy and ready to go, awesome. It's the end of the season, and obviously, we're out of playoff contention already. Obviously, the season ain't going nowhere. So I love to see Elijah Moore play, but if he isn't ready, don't push him. Like, if he's like not 100%, I don't want him to touch an NFL field if he's not 100%. But if they say he could be ready in the last couple of weeks, that could be exciting. But Michael Carter's returning. Michael Carter has been that running back one. And you guys remember, I was saying that when we drafted him. Like, it may be a little while because this is a committee and they're all going to get a chance, but Carter's going to shine. He's going to shine and he's going to show that he can be a running back one. And he has. He's really dominated. And we remember people say, oh, he's a late round pick. So is Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara was the 3rd round pick, and look what he's become. So I really, really like Michael Carter. I did in the draft. You guys remember, I felt like he was slept on behind Javonte, just because Javonte had more of the physical, measurable of a prototypical running back. Everyone was like, this is the guy. But it's like, wait, Michael Carter's quicker. He hits harder. He has more yards, more average. What's happening? So everyone's just ignoring Michael Carter. And Michael Carter II, I love the pick, but he's proven much better than I ever expected. As you guys remember, the numbers have shown his rookie numbers have semi-paralleled Darrelle Revis's rookie numbers. Like, that's amazing. So Michael Carter II, the cornerback, totally looks like a steal in the 6th round. I'm pretty sure it was maybe 5th round pick. It was a 5th or 6th round pick. Don't have it in front of me at the moment. But whichever he was a steal because he looks like a future star, a potential superstar. And that's why people, everyone talks about our defense. having negatives. Well, obviously we're getting Carl Lawson back, but I think our cornerbacks are slept on. You guys remember I've said Bryce Hall, lockdown CB1. I said it before the season started, that Bryce Hall is going to be a lockdown cornerback this year. And that is exactly what he's become. I was excited about Brandon Eccles' potential, and he's lit it up. He was really, really good before injury. Now he's back. Michael Carter II's in the mix. Javelin Guidry played outside and looked damn good. So this is exciting. I think our cornerbacks are definitely slept on. Jets gang's here. Appreciate you, my brother. Jets, Jets. Appreciate you, my man. Appreciate all you guys being here. Appreciate you tuning in. Thank you for being part of the podcast. Thank you for chiming in. But man, this episode ain't going to be long. It's just all about Zach Wilson. That's what this whole thing was about, to calm everybody down. Because again, everyone's freaking out. Everyone's like, oh my God, it's over. We need a new quarterback. I bet people telling me on Twitter, like it's over already. Like that we need to look for a new quarterback. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy town. Absolutely crazy town. So like we talked about, numbers just like everyone else. There's going to be ups. There's going to be downs. That's how it works. It ain't going to be magic all of a sudden. But like we said, anything, and I mean that as a fact, and everything in life, nothing in this life that is worth anything comes easy. Just doesn't. That's how it works. I guess Patrick Mahomes, again, is that magical exception. But it doesn't work like that for everybody else. It just doesn't. So Jets gang asking again, guys, please ask your comments, bring them on. I love to, talk about what you want to talk about. He says, do we draft a new CB high? I don't think so, man. And here's what's crazy. If you guys remember, I was all over the Derek Stingley train. Like, I was loving it. Like, from 2 years ago, I'm like, Derek Stingley, like, he's our CB1. But, man, as you guys know, when we drafted Hall, I'd said I really loved his potential. I said I think he can be a really good starting outside corner. I did not expect him to be this good this quick. And no one's going to tell you, even me, again, who thought he had a lot of potential, didn't think he'd be this good this quick. Bryce Hall is a bona fide lockdown CB1. I knew it going into this season from what I saw last season, but I didn't expect what I saw last season. Like last season, he came in toward the end of the year and he just killed it. Man, he came in and he looked like a lockdown corner. He's got the size, the measurables, the length, the speed, just everything. Just checks every single box possible. He's good in man. He excels in zone coverage because that's what he did in college. We wondered if he'd be good in man. Well, he's been sticky as hell. This dude is sticky as hell. And his pursuit on receivers is unbelievable. His ball reading skill, just everything. Bryce Hall is checking every single box on the list. CB1, that's it. So I like the other guy's potential, but that being the case, you want to a game changer with one of those top, because we're going to have 2 top picks. Seattle's basically helped us assure the fact that we're going to have 2 top picks. So thank you, Seattle Seahawks. Appreciate you sucking wind. Really, really do. But I don't think we go corner anymore. I'm thinking maybe an edge rusher. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, Carl Lawson's back next year. You got Quinnen in the middle. You got Rankins. You got Foley. 3 of those guys just kill it. Carl Lawson's coming back. John Franklin Myers has been good. I'm thinking maybe one more, like a top edge rusher. Like, because, God forbid, maybe Carl can't hack it anymore. Maybe he doesn't come back ready to go. We've seen a good stuff from Franklin Myers this year, but he hasn't kept it at that level. You guys remember, toward halfway through the season, he was on the potential to be killing it. Don't get me wrong. Him and Quinnen are playing well. But, guys, if we can draft, a 15 sack a year guy. That's what I'm talking about. Like a Von Miller, a Khalil Mack, like that kind of a guy. That's what I'm thinking would be a game changer right now. Because I like our linebacker core. I think about it. CJ Mosley, Quincy Williams has been killing it lately. Williams is fast as hell all over the field. Huge hitter. His biggest issue is coverage. He looked damn good in coverage yesterday. I thought he looked damn good in coverage yesterday. Gerard Davis could potentially be re-signed. You got Hamza Nasruddin in the mix. He's not even getting a chance to play. You guys remember I thought Nasruddin just had unbelievable potential. I think Nasruddin has the potential to be an all-star, and he can't even see the field because these linebackers are playing so well. And then Jamie and Sherwood, I mentioned the corner situation before. I honestly feel like an elite edge rusher is what we're needing. Maybe somehow we can walk away with the bow. You know what I mean? Maybe somehow Joe trades a 3rd round pick to go from the 2nd pick to the 1st pick or something to get the bow. Something like that. Get the elite edge rusher. And that could be the absolute game changer. Like I'm thinking that. And then, of course, Tyler Lindenbaum with the second pick. Like Tyler Lindenbaum has to be one of those picks. In fact, even if Joe takes Lindenbaum at 2, I'm like, okay. I mean, I feel like I could have had him at like 6 or whatever the other pick is, but okay. So I don't want that. I do want to clarify that, but we need Lindenbaum. You guys remember how bad I wanted Creed Humphrey? Again, I love Alahia Vera Tucker. I've been saying I don't think Vera Tucker's pass blocking has been what everyone's cracking it up to be. I got a little flack for that. But if you look at the numbers, his run blocking has been elite. His pass blocking's been a little weak, but I still think he has the potential to be great. Don't get me wrong. Vera Tucker is on track to become an all-pro. But man, Creed Humphrey is one of the best players in this draft because of that cerebral ability that we talked about. And long story short, I don't know if Lindenbaum has that. Remember, Creed studied film. He was a film junkie. That was the big thing I'd always heard about him. He could talk about plays and alignments and routes. He was that Nick Mangold. He was the guy that notices a defensive shift, calls an alignment, calls a blitzer. I don't know if Lindenbaum is that. I know Lindenbaum is a beast. I know he is a freaking beast, and he's going to be an excellent center. But I don't know if he has the cerebral abilities, I'll be honest. I guess we're going to find out. So I appreciate you guys. Jets Gang says we need Hamilton with one of the first. Definitely possible. Definitely possible. So, like, just bringing up some of the draft, I'll bring it up, quickly, just talk about with you guys some of the big boards. I honestly think, edge rusher, I think is how we need to do it. I really, really do. I think that would be an excellent pick with the top. And that's why I think it's, doesn't want to load. There we go. So, I mean, that's why, you mentioned Hamilton. I thought maybe you meant Hutchinson. Like, again, we need a safety. Don't get me wrong. We need a safety. And I totally agree. I think safety is something we need. But safety's not a premium position anymore. You know what I mean? Like Jamal Adams found that out. We don't need to talk about that. We know that Jamal Adams wanted big money, went to Seattle. He got big money, but he ain't gonna get paid like he's anything other than a safety. That's just how it is. But they gave him the big money as a safety because they had to. He's been sucking, which is absolutely great. Seattle's been losing, which is wonderful for us. We'll take it. But I don't know if you go safety so high. I just don't. Like, again, I think Bryce Hall, lockdown CB1. I think Brandon Echols is slept on. You guys remember I talked about him? Brandon Echols runs a 4.3 440. He's only 5'10", but he jumps a 42.5-inch vertical. Like when I read these dudes' stats, I was like, damn, like this dude can run and jump with anybody, just anybody, like period, just anybody. Brandon Echols showed really good promise. I like his potential. Don't forget, Jason Pinnock is sitting in the wings. And I still feel I've shown the numbers with Pinnock. I still think Pinnock has a lot of potential, but Echols has been the guy. You still got Guidry. You still got Michael Carter II. I'd go with a safety later on. So, bringing up the board, because I was going to mention, I still feel like, I don't think Thibodeau, I don't think I'm saying it right. You guys want to give me the pronunciation? But I think we might be able to pull that off. Like, for example, I'll show you guys. I'm going to bring up Jets draft order right now to tell you guys what I'm talking about, to show you what I'm thinking. So I bring up the draft order right in front of me. As of right now, the Jets have the 4th and the 7th pick. That's probably going to change. I mean, we might keep moving up. So let's just say it stays where it is right now. Let's just say we have the 4th and 7th pick. Theoretically, you could package the 4th and 7th pick to move up to the 1st pick. That, I think, is about a fair trade. And it's up to you. You might think I'm crazy, but if you can walk away with a guy like that, and let's just say you don't want to do something like that. There's a lot of other top edge rushers in this draft. There's Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan. Just looking at the list, in front of me. I'm not sold on, I'm probably not going to pronounce it right too, Karlaftis from Purdue. I'm not sold on him. That's just me. I also like Ajabo from Michigan, so I guess I like the Michigan guys. I'll be honest. Hutchinson and Ajabo, I think, have a lot of potential, so that's some interesting stuff. The other edge rushers tend to fall later in the draft. I mean, there's Trayvon Walker from Georgia. Again, I think I mentioned before, I'm not huge on Karlaftis. I just didn't see exactly what I wanted to see from him. So Hamilton, I agree. Hamilton, that's a big thing I point out, with Trayvon Moehrig. And you guys remember, I loved Trayvon Moehrig in this last draft because Trayvon Moehrig is like a corner. Like you watch Trayvon Moehrig playing college and you're like, why is this dude not playing cornerback? Like this dude's amazing in coverage because then he comes up to the line and he murders somebody and you're like, oh, that's why he's playing safety. So yeah, I know what you mean. I totally get it. I totally get it. I get, wanting a guy like that, but I don't know. I just feel like, safety, just me, I don't usually want to go that high. You say, Jets gang, shout out again. Appreciate you guys bringing your comments. Says, we too much to trade a first. I'm just thinking of walking away with Thibodeau. That's what, and I don't know why I'm horrible at saying his name. So you know what? Let's just go on a first name basis. How about that? So I'm just gonna say Kayvon. Okay. So Kayvon, I say it's doable. It's possible. We'll see. I'm not a huge fan of Myles Garrett. I think he's a little bit of a dirty player, and he's proven it, especially with the Jets. But he's the kind of example of a guy you're trading up for. Like you're trading up to get a Myles Garrett, like a guy that's the unquestioned top pick in this draft. Maybe you can do one of the firsts and like a third, and maybe like a fourth or fifth. There's options. I don't know. There's options, but I would love to see that because again, I feel like our linebackers are legit. I feel like they're very slept on, especially because Nasruddin can't see the field. Like Nasruddin's got a ton of potential, and he ain't seeing the field. So I like the potential of these linebackers, and I really like the potential of our corners. You're right. We do need a safety, but I have trouble wrapping my head around taking a safety any higher than the second round. Maybe it's just Jamal Adams has rubbed me the wrong way. But I just have trouble taking a safety higher than the second round. That's just me. If you want to, for example, just looking at the safeties, just off the top of my head, if I were going to go with like, some of the later round safeties, like just off the list I'm looking at, you got Daxton Hill from another Michigan guy. I guess we're going to make a Michigan team. We're going to make a team of all Michigan guys. That's not my intention. I'm just going off the list of some of the later round safeties. You got him. At 30th overall, you got let's see. You got Jaquan Brisker from Penn State. He's ranked pretty high. You got let's see who's next at the safety position. You got Brandon Joseph from Northwestern. He's considered a later pick, but that's just how I would do it if it were me. That's just it. Like Tom says how Evan. I feel like right now and. I hope I'm not wrong. I really hope I'm not wrong, but I don't think I knew what you meant, Brace. How about I knew you meant, how about Evan Neal? All good, bro, all good. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just overly optimistic, but I feel like Mekhi Becton's going to be good. You know what I mean? Like he never had injury history in the past. Last year, his shoulder was a recurring injury. We talked about that. Hell, I wrote an article on it. You guys check my site. I was so mad I wrote an article on it that this freaking coaching staff is allowing him to go back out because they're like, hey, you want to play? And he's like, yeah, I want to play. We talked about this. Like back in the 80s, players with like brain contusions were like, put me back on the field. Like, no, you're the adult. You have to say no. You're the doctor. So last year, that was BS. I feel like Becton kept aggravating that injury because they kept letting him go back out. They're like, you want to play? And he's like, yeah, I think I'm good. Then he gets hurt again. So I don't want to believe that. I want to believe that Mekhi Becton's going to be good. And Mekhi Becton comes back, man, he looked like an elite left tackle in his rookie year. So Becton back, George Fantas look good. I just don't see the need. I feel like, again, you add an elite edge rusher to that mix. Like, that's something. Like, again, if you can find the next Khalil Mack, the next Von Miller, the next Myles Garrett, like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that added into the equation could be what the Jets need. Because Carl Lawson was supposed to be that, and I truly hope he still is that. And yes, we talked about it last week. It's exciting that he's on track to be healthy early. It's exciting that they say he's ahead of schedule. That's good stuff. Because remember, we talked about you got to come back stronger than you started to play at this level. So I love that. But you know what I mean? Like, that's just like linebacker. I feel like that's what this defense needs. That's what this defense truly needs. Tom points out you could play him a guard. That's definitely true. That's definitely true. You could play him a guard. I personally think LDT is slept on. That's just me. I personally think Laurent Duvernay-Tardif is just massively, massively slept on. He proved it when he, I think it was like one game where out of like pass blocking snaps, he allowed 0 pressures. This guy is good. He missed a year because you can't beat this. You really can't. You can't make this stuff up. I personally applaud him. And again, I'm not commenting on anyone else's decisions here, but a lot of players took off because of COVID. Like they took the season off. He decided to go and be on the front lines. He decided, well, I'm a doctor and I'm going to go help people that need to be helped. So he put himself on the front lines. I'm a big LTD fan. I think he's really talented. So I think, this offensive line right now needs a really good center. I honestly think Mekhi Becton, Alahia Vera Tucker, Tyler Lindenbaum, LDT, and George Fant together can make an awesome offensive line. I truly believe that. I feel like those 5 guys together can make an outstanding offensive line. And Tom, you do point out, I know, Neil Becton, AVT, that'd be nasty. And again, I wouldn't hate it. It was kind of like a guy, you guys know I didn't want to take a wide receiver. Jeremy's here. I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it because I cannot pronounce his name. I just can't. Thibodeau, I appreciate it, bro, because I'm sitting here going Thibodeau. I just can't do it. So I appreciate you, man. Thibodeau, much shout out. But I agree, man. Neil Becton, AVT, it would be nasty, and I wouldn't hate it. It's kind of like the Elijah Moore pick. I didn't want a wide receiver that high, but when they took Moore, I was like, yeah, I could dig it. Like, this dude was the best slot receiver in college. Like, he's amazing. I could dig it. Like, so if they took Neil, I ain't complaining. If they take Evan Neal, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, it wasn't the direction I was going to go, but I ain't complaining. So I'm cool with that pick. So, if anyone else has any questions, I appreciate you bringing in, ask your questions, anything you want to talk about. But I do appreciate you guys being here. So I'm going to, check you guys later unless you guys, again, got any more questions. But please remember, in this, I love this. You guys, please, this is a back and forth. I love this, man. I want to talk with you guys. I want you, to ask your questions, bring your comments, make this a back and forth. That's what makes it fun, man. I love engaging with you guys. So please, don't hold back. Jets King points out, Neil can play right tackle too. He says, we may not need to take an offensive lineman in the first. Again, I think LDT slept on. I really do. I think LDT slept on. Joe Douglas got a steal like he just did. Him and Quincy Williams. Joe Douglas does not get enough credit, honestly, for picking up Quincy Williams and LDT during the season because both of these guys have been excellent. And they were mid-season pickups by Joe Douglas, both on the waiver wire. So definitely underappreciated. Definitely underappreciated. These Williams brothers, even Quinnen is, and it was expected, honestly. I hoped for that, and it's what's happened. Quinnen has played thinking brother, putting it together. Quinnen has played better since his brother has been with him, and his brother has really shown out. He's been what everyone expected him to be. Yeah, bro, Tom's pointing it out. Neil's a big boy. Neil's a big dude. So, yeah, Neil's a big dude. I mean, Morgan Moses is a big dude, too. But Neil's a big dude. But I do appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for tuning into the Flight Spittin Fire Podcast. Thank you for being here on your Monday evenings, joining me, talking about them Jets. Really, really appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week. But just remember all the things we talked about Zach Wilson. If you need to, I implore you to go back and watch it again because that is so important. This kid has still all the potential in the world for all the reasons we talked about. He's still a rookie. There's going to be growing pains, just like you see with Trevor Lawrence. And like we said, at least we can say Zach Wilson's playing better. So that is a perk. So I appreciate you guys being here. Thanks again for tuning in. See you guys next week. Hope you have a wonderful week. Hope we kill it this week. Hope Zach Wilson just keeps lighting it up. And let's go Jets.